we're getting ready to start our 17th practice today. And we have our first scrimmage this coming weekend, Saturday, against UAB, which I believe is the 4th straight year now that UAB and Mississippi State has scrimmaged. And then we have our first exhibition game a week from this Friday against Fort Valley State. So it's all coming upon us here real quick. We continue to have nicks and bruises. Falou broke his nose last week, has been wearing a mask the last week and a half, but is fine playing in it. Malik has a turf toe that he got yesterday in practice, which is a tough deal because you don't know how long and how severe that's going to be. Falou actually sprained his ankle yesterday. We had Travis Daniels have his wisdom teeth pulled on Monday, so he's going through that. For those of you who remember that, that's no fun. But in terms of our practices, I've been pleased with the effort. The guys are working really hard. I think they're really focused at both ends of the floor to get better each and every day, which is what we want out of our team and out of our players. I'm just excited to have 10 guys out there, because for quite a while there we didn't have 10 guys, and so that's been a positive here. And we have a long way to go. We have a lot to do, and so for example, our next challenge here this Saturday against UAB is a very good team, and that'll be a really good barometer for us to kind of see where we are, because they're a team that played in the tournament last year, beat Iowa State, the 3rd seed, before losing to UCLA in the right to go to the Sweet 16 game. And so this would be a great barometer. They're very good and returned the nucleus from that team a year ago. So questions? Okay, it was great being here, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys.
And Mike Bonner from the Clarion Ledger. With those bumps and bruises and bangs, how much have you been able to go 5 on 5 in practice? And when you're not able to, how do you simulate the full court?
No, we've been going 5 on 5. When we use our walk-ons, we have some solid walk-ons that I like that help us every day. Falou couldn't do anything with contact the first week of practice, but I think starting in our last 11 or 12 practices, I think 12 actually, we've been going 5 on 5 every day. And yesterday Travis couldn't practice, for example, because of the pain from getting the teeth pulled out the day before. We're expecting him to be out here able to practice today, but he won't be able to talk. So that'll be difficult to not talk on defense, something that we want, but we'll make up for that because he needs to go through things that we're doing right now. We're continuing to add things offensively, defensively, things that we need to know. And the best way to know it is to be out on the floor. But it's been a challenge.
Ben Waite from the Commercial Dispatch. Talking to IJ last week, he really excited about the guard group. I mean, how talented and how deep do you think that group is?
I like our guards. I think that's in terms of our depth, that's where our depth is. Starting with, IJ, Malik, Q, Fred, Chicken, and then Demetrius. And we played Demetrius some at the 4 yesterday because Travis was out, and we may see him playing some minutes for us during the year as a 4-man as well. And he did a nice job yesterday in practice. But our depth, knock on wood, is at that guard position where those 5 guys essentially, the first 5 names will play the bulk of those minutes at the 1, 2, and the 3 spot.
Ben, Robbie Falk from 24/7 Sports. With those injuries in the past, this team has had that, but how much of a benefit is it to have all those seniors this year to help smooth things over there, especially those young guys?
Well, our seniors are the key to this year's team. I mean, we have 5 seniors, 3 which are being here for their 4th year, and Fred, Gavin, and Chicken. So 3 of them are 4-year seniors, and then Travis and Johnny are JC transfers. But every day when we start practice, as you'll see today, because you get to stay for the first half an hour, we start in 5-man weave, and I always have our 5 seniors out there starting us off every day. We expect a lot out of them. They've been great, very coachable. And I will say this, we have great kids. The kids on this team are really good kids. They've been really receptive of coaching, and everything that we're doing that's different from what they've been used to in the previous 3 years that they were here. And so I'm really pleased with their attitude, and really, really excited to be their coach.
Been Tyler Griever from WJTV in Jackson. With the older guys kind of adjusting to playing with these younger guys, what do you try to impart to them to have them teach them about the college game and adjusting to this level?
Well, we're doing a lot of things different than probably they did a year ago, so it's kind of new for everybody in a sense. The fact that those older guys have experience and you can see their bodies are much more mature than the younger kids gives them obviously a big advantage. And then they've played at this level before, so they understand the intensity level is so much different at the college level and at the high school level. You got to learn to play harder. And so that's the biggest thing I want them to impart upon our younger players is how much harder you have to play to be successful at this level. It's just a whole different level of intensity at the college level versus the high school level.
Coach, obviously in the past, with especially with some of your older guys, the 4 position has been in the post more so than what you like with the stretch 4s. How have the guys on the roster at the 4 position kind of handled that transition with your stretch 4 mentality?
Well, it's been really good, I think. I think Travis Daniels, number 1, has done a great job. He played some 4 last year. He also played 3. He's exclusively playing the 4 for us now. And so he's matched up defensively on power forwards. And I really love his intensity, how hard he plays. He brings it every day in practice. He probably has the best level of intensity defensively of anybody in our program on a daily basis. And it starts at that end of the floor. And then I really like the fact he can shoot the ball. He can stretch the floor. And he's a smart kid and a great kid. And then Johnny Sapardo's come along. Johnny's biggest strength is his ability to shoot. He's done a better job at rebounding as of late in practice because we've really made it a priority to point out to him. And one of the things we do in practice every day is we keep stats. So it shows who's doing what in terms of who's getting the most rebounds, who's doing the best job at taking care of the ball, making assists. So every day there's accountability after every practice, which I think is a real positive. But those 2 guys, and I just mentioned that we're looking to play potentially Demetrius there some at the power forward position, which is really a stretch 4. And he did a really nice job because he is maybe our best offensive rebounder on the team and one of our better defenders as well.
Taylor Rayburn with the Reflector. What are your expectations of the freshman guards this season?
To play really good. But both Malik and Q have been very, very good in practice. Really like both those kids very much. They are both good shooters, good passers. They're getting better defensively. That's probably the biggest area that both those kids need improvement in, and is to understand the intensity level that's needed and to be solid and not gamble. And so there's a lot new learning at that end of the floor for both of them. But overall, they've been fantastic, and I expect them to have really good years. They're both going to be in the rotation every night, obviously, and expect to play huge roles.
Joel Coleman with Starkville Daily News. Eric Holman, how's his progression, his recovery been, and is there any chance at all we could see him on the court this year?
It's too early for me to say that, and you'll see him today or, he'll be on the sideline. But he's coming along well. His actually progression in terms of coming back from injury has been good if you ask our trainer and ask our doctors. But whether or not, he's going to be ready, he hasn't done anything since the surgery in terms of out here. He's, working hard every day with the rehab, with our physical therapist and with our trainer. But, it's just way too early for me to be able to project whether or not he'd be able to be back on the team playing and just don't know yet.
Coach, over here, Danny Smith, Starkville Daily News. You mentioned your seniors, but Gavin Ware specifically, what has he done this year in terms of leadership? Has he been a vocal leader in practice, led by example? Just what has Gavin done for you?
I'll tell you, Gavin's done a great job in practice every day scoring the ball. I'm really asking him to do more scoring around the basket. he can step out and make jump shots. He likes to pick and pop, but we need him to be an inside scoring threat for us. He's really our best inside scoring threat by a long shot. I mean, there is no second to him. It's him and everybody else down here. And so he's critical to us offensively. He's got to get better defensively. And one thing, it's a huge adjustment, and you guys will see this in the games this year. It's going to really be interesting to hear your comments. But they're going back to the fouls the way they called them 2 years ago. So I'll give you an example. We've had SEC officials here working with our team. The first time we had practice and we had them here, we had 56 fouls called in the practice. The second time we had 49 fouls called in practice. Yesterday we had 45 fouls called in practice. So we're getting a little better adjusting, but you're going to see a huge adjustment this year in terms of how they're calling the game. And that really worries me from the standpoint of, thinking, but we're going to have to put in zone. I hate to play zone. I am not a zone coach. I don't like zone. And I think we're going to have to do it, though, because we've got to keep, you bring me to Gavin. We need Gavin in the game. We can't afford to have Gavin in foul trouble. And yesterday in practice, I think he had 5 or 6 fouls. So he would have fouled out of the game. We need him in the game. So we've got to figure out ways to keep him in the game and get him the ball, because he's shooting at a very high percentage from the field in practice every day. At one point last week, after 4 days in a row practice, he was 58 for 75 from the field, which is, incredible. He has an unbelievable touch for a kid his size. He has great hands and great touch. So we're looking for Gavin to have a really, really big senior season for the Bulldogs.
Hey, Coach. Up top here, Robbie Donahoe from WCBI in Columbus. What sort of thoughts and feelings are going to go through your head that first time you walk on the court, November 6th, for that first game?
Yeah, I'm thinking more about the 13th as the first game. The 6th is the exhibition game, but the 13th, I think we're going to have a great crowd here. It's going to be tremendous. I'm just really excited to be back coaching every day. I mean, the fun part for me is out here at practice every day, working with these kids and watching them improve, watching them grow as players and as a team and as a unit. And we want to continue to do that throughout the year. But that'll be, it'll be a real exciting night for me to be back coaching in a real game again November 13th against a tough opponent who was in the tournament a year ago. Probably poor scheduling on our part to play a team like Eastern Washington and the way they play, which is an outside shooting, three-point bombs, older guys from Europe and from Australia that know how to play. But it'll be exciting, and I'll be really, really thrilled to be coaching that night.
Hey, Coach. Jeff Barker from WLBT in Jackson. What sort of things have you told these guys, since none of them have played in the NCAA tournament before? What have you told them from your experiences coaching in other places and being in the NCAA tournament?
I haven't talked about playing the NCAA tournament with these guys. That hasn't even been part of a discussion yet. I mean, obviously that's the goal of every team as you enter into the season, is to be a part of that field of 68 and have that opportunity. I've been there as a player, as an assistant coach, as a head coach, obviously, and there's nothing more thrilling than to be a part of that tournament. And I hope we have the opportunity to do that this year.
Ben, you talked about Demetrius being one of the best offensive rebounders on the team. How important is it going to be for other guys that aren't the 4s and the 5s on the team to rebound with the kind of the lack of depth in the front?
It's going to be critical, and especially for our guards. And you look at our team; we're not an opposing team physically in terms of our size. I mean, again, you'll see us play small out there a lot, where we'll have 3 guards in there. It'll be IJ and Malik and Chicken. It'll be IJ, Q, and Fred. It'll be Malik, Q, and Chicken. It'll be all the different possible, but with those 5 guys, a lot in there together. So those guards have to become very good at rebounding. You'll see a drill we do today at 3:25 right before you guys leave, where we're working on blockouts. So we're doing a lot of blockout drills, and really trying to emphasize, you've got to go meet the man and block him out and create space, and all 5 guys have to rebound. And again, this will be a huge test to see where we are from that standpoint on Saturday, because UAB has great length, great size. I was watching their game the other night against Iowa State, who they beat in the tournament last year, and they crushed Iowa State on the boards, especially getting second and third shots. So it'll be a real test. And every night, night in, night out, we have to win the battle of the boards. So that's going to be one of our biggest challenges as a team, is the ability to rebound.
You closed really well in recruiting with Malik Newman and Eric Coleman. I know you can't talk about this year's class yet, but I know a big part of your recruiting is putting players in the NBA in their past. But what appeals to recruits from Mississippi State outside of your track record? What have you seen that really appeals to recruits?
Well, I think kids want to come in and play right away. We're going to lose at least 6 guys this year, so half the team is gone. So if you want to come and play right away at the highest level in major college basketball, Mississippi State looks like a very inviting place right now. And, because we're basically, putting together a whole new team next year. I mean, so I think that's a huge thing. And I think the family atmosphere here, kids come here, parents come here, they love the family atmosphere. They love how friendly everybody is, how nice they are. Obviously, the facilities are phenomenal. Our academic support, all the people that support this program. I would tell you this, that we do have the best performance center for our men's and women's basketball team in the United States. Nobody has a better way to help players become stronger, become more flexible, become in the best possible shape they can be than we do here at Mississippi State with Coach Dietz in our brand new facility. And all of you should go up there and look at that. Let's see if we can make that happen, Greg, okay? In fact, our guys are not lifting before practice today. I would love for all of you to go up there, and I'll set that up if you're interested to see what we have with our strength coach today, just so you can check out, what our players are doing in terms of developing their bodies. And then this is a special place. We have good tradition, good history here at Mississippi State. I talked about that when I was hired, that one of the appeals to me as a coach was to be somewhere they've had success in the past. I mean, Richard Williams, when I look at this Final Four banner every time I come in here, that is really cool. And, you think about what Coach Williams and Coach Stansbury did during that 25-year run, which is recent history. It's pretty special. So there's a lot to sell. And the SEC is a special league to be in. And we went to Media Day last week up in Charlotte at the SEC Network. We're partnered with ESPN as a conference. It doesn't get any better than that. I got home the next day and they're showing all of our press conference on ESPNU. No one else gets that. So if you want to have exposure as a young man playing against the best and getting the best exposure in the country, the SEC is where to be.
I know a couple of weeks before the season over, but do you have an idea of who the starting 5 will be?
I have an idea, but I'm not ready to share that with you.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.